Are all bootlegs created equal? No, they're not. Some are bad, but some can be pretty damn good. Stay tuned. Hello again, vinyl community, Matt here. I recently picked up a couple of bootleg records, but not deliberately. I didn't know they were bootlegs until I got them home. So to give you some background, I recently went to the Rat Hole record store in Riverside, California, and I had a little bit of money. I turned 40 recently, don't tell anyone, and my family still sends me birthday money, which is pretty cute and it's very nice of them. So I decided, well, I'll spend a little bit of money at the Rat Hole. So I went there, and there were a couple of records that I wanted. Well, there were more than a couple, but you know how it is. I put most of them back. And I settled on two, and I didn't realize until I got home that they were both bootlegs. Now, one of them is not a great bootleg, and I will be returning it. The other one is actually terrific, and I'll be keeping it. So let's dive into them. First up is a picture disc of Michael Jackson's Dangerous. Now, you know, it just comes in a clear sleeve. There wasn't anything else with it. But my assumption was, the reason for that was because on the back it says promotional copy right here. So I thought, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. But from my research that I've done later, this is definitely a bootleg because this was not officially issued on picture disc at the time. It has been since, fairly recently, but back in the, I want to say this was around 97, I think, when this was released unofficially. And from what I read, it turns out that this was originally going to be released in Brazil. And Sony did some test pressings, but the test pressings were just to test out what the picture was going to look like. They didn't actually press the Dangerous album at all. In fact, I think they pressed something else to it, but anyway. And somebody at Sony then decided, well, they were going to cash in on this, I guess, and so they bootlegged it, and they got hold of a bunch of these, I guess, and they press the actual album to it from CD. Some issues though with this. Now, actually, in terms of the way it looks, it's okay. At a glance, you probably wouldn't know it was a bootleg, but it definitely starts to tell when you try to listen to it. It's extremely noisy. Now, picture discs tend to be more noisy anyway, but this is very noisy. It also has a skip right at the start of track 1, which is definitely an irritant. And lastly, it hasn't been properly mastered for vinyl at all, and you can tell the dynamics are kind of all over the place with it. It's very tinny, like it sounds like the equalizer's been pushed way up in the high frequencies. Really lacks bass response. So this is going to be going back, but I thought it was interesting because although at a glance it looks like it's an okay bootleg, in terms of sound quality it's really pretty poor, which is to be expected, especially if it really was just basically a CD rip pressed to vinyl. Vinyl has a very particular quirks, so it needs properly needs to be properly mastered. So like I said, this will be returned to the Rat Hole. I'm hoping it won't be an issue. I doubt it will be. Hopefully. I don't think he knew it was a bootleg either. But now, the second album that I picked up, by sheer coincidence, also turns out to be a bootleg. This one, I'm very confident that Chris at the Rat Hole would not have known that this was a bootleg, because I definitely didn't know. Whereas with the Michael Jackson one, I didn't realize it was a bootleg, but again, it had the promotional message on the back of it, so I kind of thought, well, maybe it's just because it was a promo copy. But this one is Massive Attack Protection. Now, take a look at this. This is, it was still sealed in this shrink right here. So it was brand new. And it's kind of amazing how realistic it looks, how good it looks. You wouldn't be able to tell. And not just from the cover. Take a look at this. it even comes with a copy of the official inner sleeve as well. Yeah. And the record itself, it feels like it's at least close to 180 grams. And this is a copy of the actual label, the Wild Bunch label, which is the label that it was pressed on back in '94 when the album was released. Now, the only way I could tell this was a bootleg is that it doesn't have anything written in the dead wax, and it should do. All the official releases should do. So, and I thought, is it just like tiny? Am I just missing it? But then I looked up photos online, and I think, no, it should be clearly visible. There's nothing on either side 1 or side 2. That's the only giveaway that it's a bootleg. Everything else is just like immaculate. And I had to kind of convince myself that it was a bootleg because everything was so well done. I mean, the writing's nice and clear. That's often a sign of a bootleg as well. Like, it'll be a real cheap, kind of shoddy photocopy sort of job, or somebody scanned it and it hasn't reprinted very well. But this is just gorgeous. Look at this. And but the main reason I'm keeping it is that the audio quality is fantastic. I was, you know, when I found it was a bootleg, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to return it. But I was like, you know what? It's already open. Chris of the Rat Hole opened it because he couldn't remember if it was on colored vinyl or not, so he wanted to check it. And whatever, I was going to open it anyway, so that was fine. And so again, I was a little skeptical when I found out it was a bootleg, but I thought, well, it's already open. Let's just give it a quick listen. And it sounds phenomenal. It really does. I don't know what this source material was. It's possible it was a CD. It is possible. I don't know. I'd like to think it wasn't, but it's certainly a possibility. But the sound quality is great. It's got great stereo separation. It's really nice and punchy on the bass. It just sounds terrific. So, and I'm not sure that this has been reissued yet. I'd have to look that up. If it has, I haven't seen it around. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna keep it, even though I'm 99% sure it's a bootleg. This one I'll be keeping just because it's so well done and so convincing. Michael Jackson, not so much. So I'd be interested to know if any of you guys have any bootlegs, and if you do, did you buy them knowing they were bootlegs, or was that something you found out about later? There was one other time where I bought a bootleg, but I knew it was a bootleg when I bought it. That was Jimi Hendrix live at the LA Forum, and I don't have it anymore. I traded it in November when I had my great November vinyl purge, just because I didn't, well, partly because I never listened to it. The audio quality on that was terrible, but it was a known bootleg. There's a whole story behind it, which I won't go into. But so yeah, let me know, guys, if anyone has bought bootlegs, whether you knew about it at the time or whether you found out later. And I'd be interested to know what the albums were and what the sound quality is like, because I think that it will vary greatly. You know, you could end up with a situation like Dangerous, where even though it may look okay, really the sound quality is pretty poor. Or like the Massive Attack, which not only looks the part, but also sounds fantastic too. So that's it, guys. Always appreciate your comments, and thank you as always for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, please hit the button below and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.